Hi, I'm Ernie Zore, and I'm here with my friend Larry Housel.
Hello.
And in this video, we're going to walk through the 2026 version of the Ohio Spousal Support Calculator from Puritas Springs Software. This is the program that helps family law practitioners analyze spousal support cases in Ohio. That is, evaluating the financial positions of both parties and testing a range of possible support orders to determine what's fair, what's equitable, and what's defensible.
And so, Ernie, I think a great place to start is right where we're at, which is this lifestyle report. Because I take a look at this and I'm like, what are we looking at here? This is a huge block of numbers.
Right. The purpose of the program is to produce a support figure, but a number by itself doesn't always tell you much. What do these numbers mean in terms of how a party lives and is able to meet their living expenses? That's the question that this report answers.
So we're actually looking at multiple levels of support, and so we can look at each of those levels and determine what that means between the two, plaintiff and the defendant.
Right, and I'm not sure how many levels there are, 16 or 20 or something like that, but it goes through a whole range of support levels. And then what it does is it does the taxes, and it figures out whether after the payment of spousal support and child support and payment of taxes, what are the parties left with in terms of their income. And then after the payment of essentials, things like, when we think of essentials, we're thinking of food, clothing, lodging, transportation. Those are probably the big four.
Okay.
And then if there's good enough situation where there's higher levels of income available to the parties, then you could even consider non-essentials, and the program will do that. And what would be considered a non-essential is probably arguable, but you might think of, like, you thought of some. I said not hockey lessons.
You said piano lessons.
I said hockey lessons. What made me think of that?
Hockey lessons is a good one, too.
Okay, yeah, that's right. That's a luxury.
Maybe non-essential, right?
Right, non-essential.
Unless you can prove a future pro career.
You had a better example.
It was remote control car collection.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Which can be important, but
It could
not
be.
necessarily essential.
Right, okay.
And so that's the column. So the rows are the amounts that the different amounts that are being paid, and the columns show where the totals line up for essentials,
and
non-essentials.
There's the divisions in that first column. That's if there's an exchange of $3,100 between the parties. And this is what happens then. You look across. The next one would be $6,334. And so what it's doing is it's taking those different spousal support amounts as well as child support amounts, and it's figuring out what the income is after payment of those things. And I think that's the number you're seeing in the third column.
Which is the adjusted for both spousal and child.
Right.
Both supports.
Correct.
And of course, then the next thing I would ask is, now I'm seeing these red numbers.
That's the whole point of it, is these essentially three rows. And the first row is $15,835. And the reason that's singled out is because that's the point at which the defendant, who is receiving the child support,
Plaintiff, I'm assuming, but Jimmy's paying $15,000 and Pat's receiving $15,000, hence the negative and then positive in their row.
So what we're saying there is that the defendant, who is the recipient of the spousal support and child support, at that point, they are unable to meet their essential expenses.
Right at that level, at
Right.
$15,835. And, you try to get it as close to 100% as possible, but obviously we only, like you said, there's only 16 or 20 different numbers that we're testing here, and that's as close as we can get. It's 98.6.
Let's move on to the second row that's highlighted in red.
Yeah.
And that's that $47,399. That's the point at which, after the payment of spousal support and child support and payment of taxes, the parties are left with that's as close to 100%. Like I said, the increments are whatever they were, 3,100. So the chances of getting 100 exactly.
Right.
But this is telling you that at that level of spousal support, 31,670 per year, that the incomes are approaching equal.
Oh, okay. So that's where the incomes get to equal. The first number is where the defendant is getting close to, or the person receiving the support is getting close to meeting all their essential expenses right on the dot. So
or coming close to the point where they can't.
Or right below it, right, gotcha.
And then, okay, so then the second one is the income equalization. And the third one, the 30% in red, that's the point at which the payor is unable to meet his or her expenses. If you go beyond that point of 41,000, they can't make their food, clothing, lodging. Those are the three valuable
levels. That's the third event you're talking about?
Yes,
okay.
that would be the one that starts out with the column $41,171.
Very valuable information, and very quickly you can just scan this and you get all your numbers quickly.
If you're going to court on something like this, you're going to want to fall in the range there that it puts in there.
You certainly don't want to be outside of it, and so that's what we would define as the working range right there.
I'll go along with that. Yes.
All right.
Well, Larry, I think we did it for this segment. And, Larry and I know that your time is limited, so we're grateful that you chose to spend a few minutes of your time with us, and we thank you for watching.
That's right. And remember, good things always happen when you like and subscribe to our videos. It helps us, get these videos up and in front of other people's eyes so they can benefit from them, and it also helps you because you'll be notified when we come out with new videos. And the next video will be about, we'll continue our spousal support journey, won't we?
Yes.
We'll talk about the OBBBA. All those the extra B's are for big and beautiful.
All right.
I don't know what the third B is.
Bill.
Beautiful. Oh, that's right. The actual bill. So, yeah, we'll be talking about that big, beautiful bill act has changed some of the numbers in these calculations, and our software will handle that, and we'll talk about how we do that.
Yep, could make a big impact for somebody that makes a lot of tips, for example.
Yeah, that's a good point.
All right. Well, hey, thanks again. Bye-bye.
See ya.